The Islamic State offensive against the Kurdish stronghold of Kobani on the Syrian border with Turkey has reportedly been halted. However, almost half the town is now controlled by the extremists, and in this latest video their flag can be seen flying over some districts. Now, fierce fighting continues as the US carries out a fresh round of airstrikes, but despite international calls to help Kobani, neighbouring Turkey is refusing to intervene or even let refugees cross the border. And as Murat Gazdiev reports, if the town falls, thousands of civilians will be at the mercy of Islamic State.
After hours in search of a good vantage point, we finally found ourselves overlooking a battleground so crucial it could decide the borders of the Middle East for years to come.
This is Kobani city, perhaps the hottest spot in the Middle East today. The entire city is surrounded by the Islamic State, apart from this narrow corridor on the border with Turkey. Kurdish fighters are still holding out in the north. They say they won't be able to hold out for long. And if they aren't able to hold out, the United Nations is warning of a massacre by Islamist forces against Kurds. There's a little refugee city over there. You can see those people are not being let into Turkey. So if the Islamic State does defeat the Kurds here, they will be at jihadists' mercy.
And all the signs say that the Kurds are fighting a losing battle. Outmanned, outgunned and cut off from supplies, the defenders still alive have all but been written off, even by their allies. Our stay at the vantage point, though, was quickly cut short.
We've just been asked to go down this hill by a Turkish officer. He's asked us to leave because apparently this area is very dangerous. The caliber of weapons being used by the Islamic State is large. They're using large caliber weapons, and this area is occasionally being hit by mortar, by artillery fire. Plus, this is the hill from which Turkish forces, if asked to go into combat, this is where they'll start shooting from.
Despite Parliament giving the green light to send in the troops and the tremendous pressure from both Turkey's allies and the country's 15 million Kurds, the president isn't budging.
They are refusing to help because of political reasons. Turkey has had problems with its Kurdish population for years, and it is likely that for that reason it wants to see Kobani wiped out.
Turkey wants to see the annihilation of all Kurds, but that will never happen. We are strong people and we have our own forces. Unfortunately, though, we do not have the weapons, but despite that, we will defend our city.
These are the Turkish tanks and artillery pieces that have been sent to Kobani by Ankara, by the Turkish government. They were originally on this hill up here, but they pulled back, maybe for their safety, maybe for other reasons, political ones perhaps. But the town of Kobani itself is under constant air attack. US-led airstrikes are pounding Islamist positions, but so far they're having little effect in the strategic sense, in the biggest sense.
The fight for this Kurdish stronghold is vicious, and its outcome could shape politics and borders in the region for years to come. But that's all in the long term. For now, though, thousands of civilians in and around Kobani are anxiously awaiting a decision from the Turkish president, one that they fear will never come. Murat Gazdiev, RT, on the Turkey-Syria border.
Well, the battle around Kobani has been going on for months. On Sunday, photographs emerged purporting to show the bodies of 3 Kurdish fighters killed in July by chemical weapons. We got some expert opinion on the photos published in a Middle East journal.
Some of the blisters would be consistent with a blister agent like mustard. So if they are real, there is a very strong chance that they might be some sort of chemical agent, possibly mustard.
These chemical weapons could come from a variety of sources, depending on how sophisticated these chemical weapons is. But according to the reports, these were not very sophisticated chemical weapons. It's more likely that it is some form of chlorine gas. It's very common, very easy to manufacture with the kind of equipment and know-how that the IS has shown it has already.